Welcome to the Box Score Sports Podcast.
That'd be hilarious. Okay, let's go to the Chiefs. Travis, this is your time to shine. Last year, they won this Super Bowl 11-6 overall for the season. Give me your favorite move, Travis, that the Chiefs made.
Ooh, so many, but you know what? Number one on that list is re-signing Chris Jones. Defensive lineman can wipe out, do the job that 7 defensive backs can't do. And Chris Jones, he played well during the regular season, but man, the postseason, he was a monster. So that's my favorite move by far. I have several others, but that's number one on that list for sure.
Okay, what about you, Matt?
So Travis took mine, so I'm going to just shoot my second favorite one
Sure.
over was Hollywood Brown.
Mm-hmm.
I was a big fan of his. I'm actually disappointed that he got hurt because I really liked him coming out of Oklahoma. I think he's a good wide receiver. He's fast. He's just not that durable, and it's too bad that he had this injury that's gonna sideline in 5-6 weeks.
Possibly he'll be ready for week 1, but
Yeah,
week 2 for sure.
Yeah, so I like that signing because I think he is a wide receiver with speed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I had that down too. I also had just the litany of signings on the Brown, Irv Smith, Worthy, all as good moves, just reshaping the receiving core of how they had. Were they the second most drops last year or the first as far as teams go?
Yay.
Number one. There you go. Not only were you the best team in the NFL, but you also had 44 drops last year. So understanding like, hey, we need to reshape our entire passing game. That was the right move. You get someone like Brown in there he's going to bring that he obviously he doesn't have Tyreek speed, but he's going to have, a measure 80% of it, 90% of it. That's going to be huge for Mahomes. Worthy, like you mentioned, when we talked about the skill position groups, he looks good so far. And Irv Smith, I've always been intrigued by him. He's a good pass catcher. His completions has gone down through the years, but I think it's a good flyer. It's a good flyer. What's the harm? He's not going to do any worse than the guys you had there. So that's why I think it was a good signing. So I just like how they reshaped their hands team, so to speak.
Yeah, they went through and really, and you could tell. I mean, they've renovated the offensive line. Now and just so you know, one of the biggest, my second thing that was on there, my favorite move is so in the draft they got themselves a legit left tackle, kid from BYU. And the Chiefs will probably be starting 2 rookies on offense this year, and that kid is one of them. Now, the poor kid hasn't seen, legit AFC West rushers like Bosa or especially the crazy man in Las Vegas. But, he's I guess he's got great footwork, they say. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, and he's joining a pretty solid offensive line, so it's not like a lot will be on him. Go ahead.
That's a good call too, because he has the Chiefs the ability to get he's allowed 10 holds a game without being flagged, I think.
Yeah, good point, Matt. Yeah.
Chiefs,
this is his replacement.
That's great.
No, that's the Chiefs allowance.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
10 holds.
Oh man, you're sounding like a Niners fan now.
I watch it with the Raiders. Those guys hold all day long.
What I will tell you, to be honest, is like what I find is most teams, like fans, every fan, like when we do the weekly predictions, I have different ones on here. They all complain about holding against their team, whatever team. I think it happens more often than we realize, but we just notice it more with whether a team we play or a team we hate. But I'm not saying that it doesn't happen more for the Chiefs. I'm not trying to discredit that, but I'm just saying, like, for instance, when the Lions get held, I see it like all the time. Like I don't always see when the Lions hold, but it does happen both ways. So, to be fair, but yes, your 10 hold allowance has to stop. And what we know, I also have to say the Taylor Swift bump is going to still be there this season, so that's a good move by them too. So
that helps everybody, Matt.
everybody.
It does, yeah. They re-signed Taylor Swift.
Yeah. Okay. What about your least favorite move, Travis?
I trying to figure out one thing that they did that I didn't extremely like. They drafted well. I don't know. They signed the problems that they needed. One big thing that they did is they kept all their coaching staff. I know I brought this up last year. They think Spagnuolo is probably the highest paid assistant in the NFL now. So I don't really have a least favorite. I mean, I guess I could say they didn't create one of those cool alternate uniforms, but it seems like, the Raiders and the Chiefs are refusing to leave tradition. So I'm fine with that too. So
Okay. What about you, Matt? You have one?
I do have one.
Okay, good. Give me it.
Been on everybody's, oh, we love this guy. I am not an Xavier Worthy fan.
Okay.
He's slender. He's undersized. Yes, he's got extraordinary speed. He reminds me of John Ross, but John Ross was a better all-around wide receiver coming out of college. John Ross, you said that Worthy can run all the routes. I disagree.
I watched him you got to watch more Big 12, man.
I disagree vehemently that he can run all the routes. I think he's going to struggle with more physical cornerbacks. Yes, he's got great speed, but my comp to him is John Ross, and I think he is an injury risk. That's my thing. I think there were better wide receivers out there that the Chiefs could have taken that had not the blazing speed, but had enough speed. He doesn't have Tyreek Hill's body.
No, Tyreek didn't have Tyreek's body either the first two years.
Tyreek was a running back coming out of college.
It's a track star.
Yeah. Well, okay, and it kind of plays a little bit into my least favorite movie because I get if maybe you feel differently about how you view him, but he is an unknown in the NFL. That's just the truth of the matter. He's a rookie, right? We just don't know about him. On top of the Brown injury, plus what's going on with Rice? Do we know what's going on with him yet with all the offseason stuff?
NFL says that in exchange for the 10 holdings, they're not going to suspend him this year.
Okay.
So that's what the Chiefs have. I just heard this a couple of days ago. That's what they've been told. So they got to let the legal system play its way out for his stupidity / knucklehead behavior. So
some say it might come down with the playoff push that he might not even be on the roster during the playoffs because that's when it could all come down.
Oh. I don't know. They told him that it's not going to happen this year. Is what all the media in Kansas City is reporting, which to me that's a big deal because I would have expected it to hit early in the year.
You think they would just do it to get out of the way, right? Like let's just let's give them 4 games just right off the top of the season. That way it's done no matter what happens. Hey, just don't be dumb,
Right.
8 games. That was a serious accident.
As soon as I saw
I was just I wasn't saying it should only be 4 games. I was just saying get it over with. I'm sorry. Yeah. Lifetime ban. Okay. So with that in mind, the Brown injury already, the uncertainty with Rice, you're putting a lot of your eggs in the Worthy basket as being your primary wide receiver.
I think Worthy. I mean, what Worthy's the intent is never for him to be the primary right away.
Right.
Rice is the primary, and then also you have to take into consideration that wide receivers notoriously have a tough time in Andy Reid's offense.
Yeah,
at least early on.
Right,
and that's why they were so excited about Rice that he picked it up so well. But if you notice, if you look at his stats last year, it was really middle December on that Rice came on. So
yeah, and that's just my point is just like with all the uncertainty with Rice, even though he might start the season, it would stink to lose him halfway through, even though it might be deserved. Obviously it's deserved, but you know what I'm saying? Like, so you have the Rice problem, already Brown's injured, which I really like that pickup. You don't know how Kelsey's going to come into the season as far as like how hard he's going to push, like, because we want him in the playoffs. And then like, and then Worthy, like how good is he going to be off the bat? So my least favorite move is just the uncertainty with the receiving court that's happened since training camp started in the injury with Brown. So that's like my least favorite, is just the fact that there's a lot of uncertainty there, and that's the scary part, even though I like everything that they did. So yeah. Green flag for you, Travis?
The team's attitude in camp. It's not about, if you listen to them, which I truly believe that's their mindset, is they're more concerned about winning the AFC West than they are about anything else beyond that. And that is Andy Reid 101. That's all they care about, is we have to win our division. Period.
Yeah, that's a good first step.
To me, that's where they have excelled, obviously, in the last 6 years, that attitude. And it starts with Patrick down. That is their goal, is AFC title first, AFC West title first.
Yeah, that's a good goal. What about you, Matt?
Green flag is probably the defense. I feel like the defense, even with the loss of the cornerback,
Snead.
I think the defense still got better,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's going to step up even more. I think OJ McDuffie is a really good cornerback, and I think that defense. That's why I had them ranked number 1 in the West.
Do you mean Trent McDuffie?
Yes, did I say OJ McDuffie?
Yeah, Dolphins.
Yeah,
that's why.
that's
a Dolphin. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's a callback right there.
Bring in a callback. Yeah, Trent McDuffie. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you calling out the Dolphin there. That was awesome. Green flag for me is they still have and this is, I said this last year, but this is going to be my green flag until it's no longer the case. They have the best coach and quarterback combo in the league. That's why. Reed and Mahomes are the best QB coach combo, and as long as you have that, I have to trust you. I have to think that you're going to be awesome every single year. You're going to find a way to get things done. So that's the biggest green flag for me. Yeah. It will always be. Biggest red flag for you, Travis?
All the extra games that they have been playing. Yes, they have been playoff games, but that does begin to take a physical toll. You mentioned Travis Kelce. I think, when you start getting scary, I wish I was his age, but in football, that's, you're getting up there with all those extra games. I figured the other day that they've almost played 3/4 of another season just in playoff games in the last.
That's crazy.
And it's got to come out somewhere physically, right? So that's honestly, I think any Chiefs fan will tell you that's probably the biggest thing of concern, is that going to come back and get you, in October of this season, or November or whatever.
Yeah, that's a good one. What about you, Matt?
Biggest red flag is Andy Reid's heart health.
He loves cheeseburgers, man.
I can't tell if you're serious or not.
That's the only red flag I can think of.
Okay.
That guy needs to he needs to eat a salad once in a while. Because I'm not trying to fat shame him, but he's a big guy, and I think he needs to take a little better care of his heart. Because he's an incredible coach. Yeah, that's kind of a joke. I don't really have any red flags.
That's fair.
Maybe help with the wide receivers.
That's fair. My red flag is the rest of the division has gotten better, and I think just with the tough mindset of the Sean Payton, Antonio Pierce, Jim Harbaugh, it's not that it was ever like a cakewalk, but it's going to be even more challenging for them throughout the season, because we know division games are always close, and now you're playing tougher teams every week. And I think obviously they don't need home field advantage throughout the playoffs, but it'd be nice for them. I just think that's the only red flag I could think of is I really like the Raiders offseason. I really like the Chargers offseason. I thought the Broncos had a solid offseason, and so did the Chiefs. They had a good offseason, but it's like the rest of the teams are now getting to the point where their coaches are matching your coach a little bit. Andy Reid's still probably the best coach in the division, but the other coaches are starting to match, and now they just need to get the rosters there, the culture there, and once that gets there, it's going to be kind of a bloodbath, in my opinion. So that's the only red flag I have is just that the other teams got better and more tough this
Yeah.
off season.
Remember a couple of years ago when the rest of the division, but the Chiefs spent like $500 million on players.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody thought, oh, the AFC West, toughest division in the world, but they spent all that money on players. They didn't spend it on coaching and how that went. And that's why I agree with you in that respect. They didn't spend much money this time, but they went through and rapidly and drastically increased their coaching IQs. So I do think the division will be way more competitive than it has been in the last 10 years.
Yeah, and just and tough coaches. Like even when they made all those roster moves, I never trust Josh McDaniels or I never trust Brandon Staley. I just didn't trust those guys. Who was the guy before Sean Payton for the Broncos? I can't remember.
Oh, was it the guy from
Hackett?
yeah, was it the guy
Yeah.
from Bay?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and I never trusted him either because he had Aaron Rodgers his entire career. So it's like I just didn't trust their coaching, hires and stuff like that. But I actually like all the hirings. The only one that's a little bit unknown is Pierce, but I like him, so we'll see what happens. But that's the only red flag I could think of.
Yeah.
Fantasy. Let's go to fantasy. Go to Travis.
I am gonna go on I can go through and name one of the guys that probably make a bunch of points, but there's a kid that was a undrafted free agent that's going to make the team, Carson Steele. Just remember that name. The guy like had 2,000 yards rushing at UCLA or something crazy, and the Chiefs are going to use him in as a fullback. And one thing that they had problems with last year was punching it in, kicking a lot of field goals down in the red zone. And this kid is running over people in these last two preseason games. I honestly think he's probably going to be one of those guys that snatch touchdowns, from Pacheco, and as they get close, you know, that's the Chiefs version of the Philly push. So,
Okay. Maybe a Mike Allstock-esque
yeah,
player. That would be pretty.
If you saw him, he looks like Baby Thor with the long blonde
I
hair.
didn't see a picture of him. Yeah, that's crazy. Well, that's a deep cut. What about you, Matt?
All right, I think Travis Kelce. It does worry me what Travis said about the usage, but I think with the speed of the wide receivers that they have is going to help him out. And he and Mahomes, I think their bromance just continues because they love each other. And
Yeah.
I think he's going to have an easier year of finding openings in defenses. But I've got a dynasty one too for the Chiefs.
Go ahead.
If you play dynasty fantasy football, Jared Wiley, the tight end, the rookie tight end, he's going to be really good when Kelce hangs it up.
The
And he's
guy they drafted in the 4th round, huh?
Yeah. Another 4th round tight end from TCU.
6'6".
Wiley.
That guy's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that one. I'm just gonna go with Patrick. I love drafting Patrick Mahomes. He's always my favorite quarterback to draft because he's fun to watch. And there's no way, right, that they're gonna drop 44 points again. And they got the deep threat. So in like my league, I have a league where I try to put emphasis on the quarterback position. I want it to mimic what the NFL shows. So like long passes are more points and stuff like that. Touchdowns are 6 points, stuff, just like a running back is, because I think that it should mirror the NFL. So in that, especially a league like that, I just think like go after Mahomes. I think he's going to have a better year than he did last year because there's just no way that receiving core drops 44 passes again. Can't.
And I think the guys that dropped a lot of balls last year, they're probably not going to even make this year's team. So, and the Patrick has used the term he didn't have fun last year. So notwithstanding the Raiders irritating him and embarrassing him on Christmas Day, that's on his list. And now he wants to have fun. Yeah, I think fantasy wise, yeah, he would be a great pickup.
Yeah, I love picking up players I like watching typically as well.
I like Patrick Mahomes this year too, but I have a hard time picking a quarterback because if I'm in a 1 quarterback league,
Yeah.
I don't pick a quarterback until the 5th, 6th round, and he never makes it to me.
Yeah.
I've got because I feel like I can find somebody. So that's why I just can't pick a quarterback as my fantasy go-to.
It's a good point. Most leagues, it's what is it, like 25 yard, 1 point for every 25 yards, and it's 4 points per touchdown, which I never understood why you wouldn't want your league to mimic what the NFL values, right? Like can I just say PPR is the stupidest stat rewarded in fantasy football. Like, you catch a negative -1 yard pass and you get credit for that. It's just like, I hate PPR.
You can say it, but I'll disagree with you.
I'd rather you give me a point for every first down. If you gave me a point for every first down, okay, like at least the pass and the catch went beyond 10 yards. If I catch a 2-yard pass, screen pass, and you give me a whole point for that, I can't agree with that. Can't.
Got to just help balance out the Gardner Minshew's of the league. That's what it's there for.
You got to help out those Amon-Ra's.
He's a beast. I don't know how to hear that, but
You got to help out those Amon-Ra's.
No, stop it. It was Julian Edelman's. He'd be like picked before Calvin Johnson in PPR leagues because Edelman would get like 120 catches and it's like, in what league do you want Edelman drafted before Calvin Johnson? That is the most absurd thing. I can't, don't have time for this right now. I'll save it for the fantasy football podcast. Okay, let's predict the Chiefs this year. Travis, what do you have the Chiefs going?
AFC West champion, 12-5.
Well, we agree there too. I also have them 12-5. What do you have, Matt?
13-4.
Okay. Like them a little bit.
I think they're that good. Their offense is going to be better, and their defense is, I think, elite.
Sure.
Yeah. Like I told Ryan last year, the problem with the Chiefs is sometimes they get bored.
Thanks so much for watching this clip of the Box Score Sports Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter or X. And we'll talk to you guys real soon. See ya.